Hello everyone, I hope you guys doing well. And today is March 9th, Saturday, and I'm going to take another interview with a guy from Australia. His name is Dominic, and we're gonna shoot it in Botanical Garden in Astana. Alright, hello guys, Sultan is here, and today I have another interview, and today is my guest, a guy called Dominic, and now he'll introduce himself. Hello Dominic.
Hello everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Dominic. I'm from Australia.
Hi Dominic again. Welcome to Kazakhstan.
Thank you.
Right, let's walk around a bit. And where are we right now?
Yes, so we're in the botanical gardens of Astana.
And how typical is this kind of places for Australia?
Like we do have quite a few botanical gardens. I mean, definitely you won't see them looking like this though. Like snow is rare in Australia.
All right. And you came here from which city?
So I live in Melbourne, Australia normally.
Okay. And we met here in the Botanical Garden, and you came by taxi, as far as I understand.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, how's that experience?
Like the taxi driver, he didn't really talk to me except to find our location. But I'd say sometimes they cut through a bit. Like it's definitely, the driving's a bit wilder than Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Australia, some of the taxi drivers, they like to cut, and they're a bit like sneaky on the road.
Okay. Let's talk about your story. Please tell us, how did you come to Kazakhstan and why Kazakhstan?
Oh, so
is it your first time here?
So this is my second time in Kazakhstan. I was here 2 years ago for 50 days, and yeah, I really enjoy like Kazakh cuisine, the tea, the food. People have been pretty hospitable to me. Like yeah, when I came here 2 years ago, I didn't feel so much like a stranger. Like I've been to other countries, and definitely I felt more welcome in Kazakhstan than, for example, China. I'd say.
I see the cap, like, which says Kazakhstan. Tell us about this. Where did you get it from?
Oh, so I was in one of those stores like LC Waikiki, or maybe it was like this bag I have, Intertop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I needed more clothes to manage with the weather. So so definitely I need these kind of beanies or.
So it's not a gift, actually. It's not a gift. You bought it by yourself.
No, I bought it.
And I see the scarf on you. Do you feel cold?
Yeah. I mean, it's better today. I saw it was -5, but still, it's still cold for me. Like in Australia, you wouldn't see. In Melbourne, we wouldn't see minus at all. Like once in my life, I saw -1.
So can you compare the weather in Melbourne and Astana?
I mean, Astana is definitely much more cold. Like, I feel very different here. Like, I mean, the river is still, the Esim River is still frozen.
Yeah.
Like, for me, the rivers that I see in my city, they're always clear. Like the water's always running.
Okay. And Dominic, what do you do here in Astana? Do you work or are you a student?
So I'm teaching English at a college.
Right.
So it's a college where they teach languages and also teaching and what was it?
Does it focus only on teaching languages, or it's...
I mean, it's especially English. There's a big focus on English, but people also learn Turkish and French and Chinese. So there are quite a few languages.
Okay, so that's your second time in Astana in Kazakhstan.
That's right, yeah.
How long have you been here?
Oh, so this time I've been here for 1 month.
Just 1 month?
Yeah, last time I was in Astana 5 days, but Kazakhstan as a whole, 50. My first time was 50 days.
Uh-huh. But the first time was for what purposes?
Oh, just tourism.
Tourism.
Yeah, I was doing a tour of Central Asia, so I went to Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and here as well, Kazakhstan.
Oh, do you have a lot to compare? Right. And let's talk about teaching experience. What is it like to be an English teacher in Kazakhstan so far?
I mean, definitely I can say it's different from what teaching English would be in Australia. Like, I have classes where the students are Russian speaking or Kazakh speaking, and there is a different feeling. Like, for example, in Australia with my certificate, I could only teach adults.
Yeah.
But here I'm teaching students of 15, 16, 17, 18 years old.
Be careful here. It's still slippery. Yeah,
So,
look around, guys. It's still slippery. That's Astana weather, March 9. Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, like teaching teenagers, it's different from teaching adults. I've taught mainly online actually.
Yeah.
So and teaching online is a different experience from teaching in person. Like so I spent a lot of time teaching Chinese students online and one-to-one classes online, and yeah, definitely in person you can see what the students are doing, and definitely I feel you can see how the students are managing, who's going faster, who's going slower, who's paying more attention, who's less focused. So it's different, but also in the classroom you have to make sure you're managing effectively. Classroom management is definitely big.
And yesterday was March 8th, International Women's Day. Did you guys get any celebrations in the school?
We had a celebration the day before.
Yeah.
And
how does it feel? Like, do you have something similar in Australia, for instance?
No, not at all. So in Australia, like International Women's Day, I mean, some people know about it, but it's not a holiday or anything.
Special national holiday.
No. Yeah, like we don't really celebrate International Women's Day. Like maybe some people who are like involved in women's rights or some kind of thing, they might, or political groups might celebrate it. But in general, it's just it's not like one of our public holidays.
Okay. And let's continue talking about, you mentioned you've been to other Central Asian countries like Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And can you compare these three countries?
Oh, I'd say
how they're different and similar.
I mean, Uzbekistan feels very different from Kazakhstan. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like super different. There are still some things in common, like people speak Russian, but the level of economic development in Uzbekistan is lower than Kazakhstan. So especially, a lot of people prefer paying just by cash.
Mm-hmm.
And here, everyone's using their Kaspi QR codes and...
Yeah, what about you? Do you use Kaspi QR?
Yeah, I've got the QR code.
Exactly. How fast did you get it?
Like when I came here after 1 week or so, I got my Kaspi set up. But you know what? I had a card from the last time I was here.
Uh-huh.
So we still had to go through the process of setting up my account again. But I'd already understood the system and how to pay with Kaspi.
And can you compare this level of digitalization with Australia?
Also,
What's your perception?
I think Australia is getting more digitalized economically. Like, definitely, people are starting to use their phones to scan, make payments. But it's a very recent thing. Like, I'd say until a year or two ago, Australians were either paying by card or by cash.
Oh, that's a bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Asian countries are getting very digitalized. Like when I was in China, was it 7-8 years ago? No, 7 years ago. Yeah, people were using WeChat Pay and scanning.
And how about Kyrgyzstan?
Kyrgyzstan, the culture is very similar to here. I mean, I'd say they're more economically developed than Uzbekistan, but not as much as Kazakhstan. Like Kyrgyzstan, you find a lot of the same things you see here. I go to I like a restaurant called Navat, and you can find Navat in Kyrgyzstan. You can find it here in Kazakhstan as well. Yes, it's very similar, but the economy is not as developed. That's
okay.
So you weren't like in Astana and Almaty. Definitely there are a lot of flashy buildings, but in Bishkek, I'd say the buildings, they do look a bit older.
Yeah, let's see around. The new buildings are popping out.
Yeah, like.
Okay, Dominic, so let's go back to your country and talk more about Australia.
Yeah.
Please tell us about your country, more details, because we don't know much about this country.
Yeah, like definitely first thing I'll say is Australia is very diverse. Like most people in Kazakhstan think we have a land of snakes and spiders and all of the scary animals.
The most dangerous ones in the world live in Australia.
I mean, definitely we do have them, but I'm from a city where we don't really see them. Like in Melbourne, you'd only see a kangaroo in the zoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you'd have to go to the outskirts of Melbourne, like just outside of metropolitan Melbourne, to see kangaroos in the wild. Yeah, you won't see them, and definitely, Australia's a huge country. Yeah.
As far as I know, it's like 6th largest country in the world, and Kazakhstan is the 9th.
Yeah, like
in terms of territory.
We have about 7 million square kilometers in landmass, and like we have areas where you won't find a person. You could drive kilometers, and you just won't see anyone, especially in the desert, in the rural areas of Australia.
Alright, what about population?
So we have now, I'd say 25, 26 million.
Right. Almost similar to Kazakhstan. We have got 20 million people.
Yeah. And definitely, I guess our equivalent, we have the desert, and Kazakhstan has the steppes where not many people live.
Exactly.
Yeah, so definitely we're similar in the how people are mainly living in some cities, and the rural areas can be quite empty.
Okay. What else can you say?
Australia's it's economically well developed. Like people earn some of the best salaries in the world, and it's very modern, very developed. But yeah, as we were talking about Kaspi, and it's funny how Australia is behind when it comes to digital banking.
And what might be the reason for this?
Yeah, I wonder myself, like, we seem to have, we seem to be behind with many, but compared to many countries in a digital area, internet area. Like, it took a long time for Australians to get a proper broadband set up, and even then people were saying, oh, it's not fast enough. Why don't we have fast broadband like in South Korea? So yeah, the digital standard in Australia, it's not, it could be better. But I mean, like, because we're pretty advanced, so it's not shameful. It's just, yeah, unfortunately we don't have South Korea's internet speed, but maybe that will change.
Okay, so you move around in Astana using public transportation, taxis.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything when it comes to most popular brands or cars in Astana? And can you compare it to Australia?
Like, I mean, I've seen similar brands, but like, I've seen kind of, I think it's a Soviet brand, Lada.
Yeah.
Once I've seen a Lada.
Russian, yeah.
Russian brand. Like, you won't see Ladas in Australia at all. No, so we tend to like a lot of Japanese cars, like Suzuki, Toyota, Honda, and we have our own brand, which is Holden.
Holden? Is it Australian produced?
Like, I'm pretty sure like, we consider it Australian. I'm not sure whether the parts are still made there, though, because a lot of things are made in China anyway now.
Yeah.
But like, I'd say the most popular brands which we accept as locals, like Holden and Ford. But I mean, yeah, Ford's definitely American, but it's popular among Australians, especially people we call ethnically Australians, but they're pretty much white, like white Americans.
All right. Okay, Dominic, you mentioned actually, let's go this way.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about your parents and their country. Looking at you, we cannot say exactly about your ethnicity. Could you please tell us more about this?
Okay, sure. Yes. So my family comes from Mauritius.
Mauritius.
So we're specifically from the Creole group in Mauritius.
Mm-hmm.
And my background, so the Creoles, my people, like a lot of us are very mixed. Like my family has European, Indian, African, even a bit of Chinese in us.
Wow. So it's a mixture.
Yeah, like we're so mixed. Like, we've got so many different backgrounds in us, and also I've friends from my community there. They also have quite a mixture as well.
We are walking in the botanical garden, and right now, if we walk around this way, we can see on the background, we can see this expo. How's it called? This sphere.
Yeah, it's
this expo sphere.
Yeah,
have you been there?
Yeah. So I've been inside. I like expo a lot. I like at the bottom floor. It's I'd say the most Kazakh floor.
Yeah.
In the first floor, you can see like the 5 or 10 different words for hospitality, like different ways Kazakh people give hospitality. Hospitality is such a big thing in Kazakh culture. It's definitely something I like about Kazakhstan, how they really take care of guests.
Did you have a chance to be invited to guests?
Like, yeah,
to visit somebody's home?
I visited a few people's houses. They'll just like prepare a meal and for me, and yeah, it's very welcoming. Like I went to a housewarming party recently, and the food that was prepared, it was such a feast. Like, we had Baursaks, salads, like a whole table full of food.
Yeah, okay. And how can you compare local cuisine to Australian ones?
So Australian cuisine, like what people call Australian cuisine.
Yeah.
I'd say it's originally from the UK, so we have fish and chips, meat pies. But I mean, our native ingredients and food, we definitely have our own fish. You can also eat kangaroos, even though
talk more about this. That's very interesting. Talk kangaroos.
Kangaroo meat, it's actually quite nice. Like I'd say it's similar to beef, but more crunchy. So I like the flavor. I definitely recommend eating kangaroo meat. Yeah. Oh, so I was actually really surprised the first time I had horse meat a few years ago when I first came to Central Asia. I didn't like the taste was so new to me. I didn't know what to think. But now after I've had it a lot of times, I like it now. I like the, having the Kazakh, you call it, in the Baursaks. Kazakh is nice.
Okay. And talking more about Kazakhstan and Kazakhstani culture, I know that you're kind of not really, maybe I can say that you're a fan of Kazakhstani culture.
Yes.
When it comes to language and
yes.
When it comes to songs, right? Could you talk more about this?
Oh yeah. I've listened to a lot of Kazakh music. Like I know about Keshu, like Q-pop, Kazakh pop. It's pretty enjoyable. Like I like how a lot of them have like a happy kind of dancing, positive vibe.
Yeah.
But also there are a lot of songs which are very emotional and very heartfelt.
Yeah, and of course, Dominic, you must sing something.
Okay.
Let's try.
Okay, so I'll sing a song. It's from Yerke Yesmahan. Owl Minin Kala Galactica Dama. Hey, Owl Minin Kala Galactica Dama. Sinjok, Kim Sin Kaida Almatı da yok Astana da yok Seni de Aktıbe de yok Şimkala da yok
Bravo! Yeah. Do you know the meaning of this song?
I'm not in Astana. I'm not in.
No, it's not me. It's you are not in Astana.
Yeah.
The girl is looking for her boy.
Ah.
I mean, she's not married. She doesn't have a boyfriend, and she's looking for him.
All right.
And it's like she's saying, "I was looking for you in different cities, in Aktabe, in Shymkent, and you're not there yet." But right now she's married. Yeah, she found her. Man, finally.
Yes, Yerke has my hands.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good. Very nice.
Yeah, I also listen to traditional music. I've got a cobblers, so I got it sent from Australia, and I'm just waiting to.
Can you play cobblers?
I've done some lessons, so.
So you know basics.
I know a little bit. I mean, I'm not a professional or anything, but I'm still learning.
You know the basics, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I know how to make the sounds. Maybe if I practice it again, I can do one of the songs.
Okay. And going back to hospitality, you mentioned this thing. And for us, Westerners, because you're a Westerner, perceived not as hospitable as us. Or for us, hospitality is something different. What can you say about this? What is hospitality in Western style, for instance? Or Australian style?
So I'd say hospitality.
What does it mean for you?
In Australia, I'd say the closest thing to hospitality is maybe people meeting their friends or their family supporting, friends supporting. We don't really have a taking care of guests culture. I mean, yeah, of course, if you
that's what I was talking about. The culture of inviting people over, treating them the best meal you have, these kind of things.
Yeah, like Australians, like maybe a few of them do, but we don't really have this culture of treating our guests like I'd say, unless you're somebody's friend or family, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's rare.
All right, and could you please talk more about your family? Like, where are your parents right now? Do you have any siblings?
Yes, so my parents are in Australia. Actually, both of my parents now are staying with my sister in Adelaide. So that's a smaller city than Melbourne, but we all used to live in Melbourne. And
Why did you move to Adelaide?
like I haven't. I mean, I only visited Adelaide, but my sister had a baby now, so my parents have been visiting her, and especially I've been staying with her a lot. So, see, my sister moved to Adelaide, like after teaching in a rural community. So my sister lived in a rural area of Australia, in the desert for 3 years.
Yeah.
And she was teaching Aboriginals, so they're the original people of Australia before Europeans and everyone else came. And so she got a very different experience compared to what people living in the cities would have, like experience their culture, which is different from what we think of as Western culture. And
Okay, so Dominic, are you able to read in Kazakh and Russian?
yeah, I can read Cyrillic. It's not hard.
Yeah, the alphabet is pretty easy. All right, so we are moving here, and probably I'll ask you to read what is written here, because we're here in the botanical garden. They are
Okay, sure.
supposed to rent something, these kind of things. Let's see. Yeah, can you read these parts?
Okay, so in front I can see velociped terde Zolga Beru
Yeah,
Shangla Zolga Beru.
yeah, perfect. Do you know the meaning?
I can understand bicycles,
Yeah,
bicycles giving Beru giving
Yeah.
receiving.
even for the rent.
Oh.
Right. Let's come over here, and there is a stand with some advertisements.
Oh.
Can you read them?
I can read. So there's a Baijola.
Abajala.
Like I know that's a famous book about Kazakhstan's most famous author.
Yeah, exactly.
Writer. And
What else? Maybe we can come closer.
there's one book called Batar Bayan. So I think
Batur Bayan, yeah?
Bayan the hero. I know Batar means hero.
Yeah.
And meaning Atom Koja.
In Adam Khoja.
Oh, so yes. So I got recommended to watch that movie actually.
You watched it?
I watched a little bit. It's not my style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it's like a Soviet era film, but in Kazakh.
Exactly.
So,
And do you know the meaning Atom Khoja? What
yes,
is
my
it?
name is Koja.
Right. And definitely, let's continue. And let's check your Kazakh language skills.
Okay.
Are you able to speak basic Kazakh?
Okay, sure.
Right. Let's talk.
Okay.
What's your name? Okay. Салем.
Салем, қалыңыз қалай?
Жақсы. Өзіңіз?
Жақсы, рахмет.
Сенің атың кім?
Менің атым Доминик.
Доминик. Вау. Сен қайдан келдің? Қай елден?
Мен Аустралияданмын, Мельбурн қаласынанмын.
Астанада не істеп жатсың? Не істейсің?
Мен мұнда ағылшынша сабақ беремін, колледжде сабақ беремін.
Өте жақсы. Керемет.
Рахмет.
Астана қалай?
Астана өте суық, иә.
Өте суық.
Қар бар.
Қар бар. Жақсы. Керемет сөйлеп жатсың ғой? Керемет. Жақсы сөйлейсің.
Көп рахмет. Иә. Қазақша сөйлейді, жақсы көремін.
Орысша білесің бе?
Орысша аздап, чуть-чуть. Русский.
Давай проверим. Привет.
Привет, как дела?
Отлично. У тебя как?
Хорошо, спасибо.
Как тебя зовут?
Меня зовут Доминик.
Откуда ты?
Я из Австралии.
Австралии. В Астане что делаешь?
Я читаю английский.
Ага. Сколько тебе лет? Сколько лет?
У меня есть 6?
36 лет.
Нет, да.
Отлично. Super. Perfect. Right. So, man, today is a holiday, and could you please talk what do you usually do in your spare time?
Oh yes, so definitely I go to the shops, like the big malls, and I go to restaurants and meet people.
And talk about your favorite places.
Oh, I definitely like for restaurants. I'd say Navat. Definitely, I've been to Navat so many times.
Which one? It has some branches in Astana.
So last
Like
time I was in Navat, it was I forgot which street, but there's one nearby Terek.
Yeah.
That one I know. And another one I went to. It has
Asia
really,
Park. In Asia Park.
Could be like it has really nice.
And what's your favorite food over there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I eat Baursaks. Definitely, I like Baursaks with the cream, kaymak.
Sour cream, yeah. Kaymak.
Yeah.
You like kaymak?
Oh yeah, like the Navat one is like sour cream, and it's very nice, creamy. I tried another kaymak. It's called bal kaymak.
Yeah.
It's a different taste completely.
So what else do you like there?
So I'd say I eat a lot of plov.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I like eating that. I mean, in my culture, we eat rice, and we even have a similar dish. We call it palau, but it's rare that we eat that one. Like we have rice with curry and fish, rice with curry and chicken, meat.
And how about drinking tea in Kazakhstan?
Oh yeah.
Did you get used to it?
Oh, it's amazing. Like I don't have this experience in Australia at all. That's when I came back to Australia. That's something I missed. Like I can just go into a restaurant and try all these kinds of teas. You know, Tashkent tea, Marokkan tea, sea buckthorn. It's amazing.
And the question is this. I guess it's called reverse culture shock. Once you come back home, do you think that there is going to be something for you like this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first time I came back from Kazakhstan, I'd been in Central Asia for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I gotten so used to wearing like takiyas and drinking tea, eating food, meeting lots of people. It was a bit of a shock going back to normal life in Australia.
In terms of what?
Like, I mean, the food, the cuisine. And definitely, I met so many people in Kazakhstan. I was in Almaty, actually, most of the time. And I met so many people. I guess people are really surprised and really interested to see a person from Australia in the city. It's not something. It's rare for people here.
Kind of, yeah. Australia is too far from us. All right, and let's talk about this infrastructure. We are working in the city.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna head to Baytirik. And what's your perception? How do you feel? Can you compare this infrastructure, roads, apartment buildings to Melbourne, for instance, or any other Australian city?
So actually, Astana, like there are so many new buildings. I can see so many buildings popping up. Like in Melbourne, we do have new buildings. Like I'd say we get a few skyscrapers, but you won't see like this constant building of apartments all over the place. Like I think Astana, like the population has grown so many times in the past 30 years that you need to constantly keep building new.
Yeah, do you know it became the capital in 1997? It's one of the youngest in the world.
Oh.
That's one of the reasons. Right, and well, that's Botanical Garden. Let's see around. Let's show the place for the world, for those who haven't been here. Right. What would be your address to foreigners who haven't been to Kazakhstan before, to Westerners, let's say?
Yeah, so I'd definitely say, you won't experience like a huge culture shock, but definitely it'll be different. Like especially like English-speaking countries, when you come to Kazakhstan and people are constantly speaking to you in Russian, especially, you'll have to kind of get used to the local speech. But definitely it's a good experience. I recommend Kazakhstan to anybody who's interested in traveling.
Yeah, and the question is this: what do you guys know about Kazakhstan outside? I mean, in the Western world, in Australia.
Like I'd say, most Australians, the only time they've heard of Kazakhstan would be from the Borat movie.
Yeah.
So most people, they have no idea what Kazakhstan is. It doesn't. We don't see it on the news. We don't see it much. Maybe so at the Olympics, Australians might see the Kazakhstan.
Yeah, in 2002 in Sydney.
Yeah,
that's when I was one of the most successful Olympics.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Yeah, Australians, they'd see Kazakhstan on the Olympics, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
Like maybe once a year or once every 2 years on the news, you might see something happening.
Okay. Let's cross the street. Okay, Dominic, thank you very much for sparing the time.
Yeah,
and could you please tell some final words to the world and Kazakhstan?
Yeah, so I recommend anybody to visit. Definitely you have to see the food here, drink some tea, experience the local hospitality. Oh, listen to the music, of course, yeah. Traditional music, pop music, there's a lot of nice music in Kazakhstan.
And for Kazakhstani people, you can say something in Kazakh.
Okay.
Louder.
Okay. Сәлеметсіздерме? Мен Қазақстанда өте қуаныштымын. Қазақтар өте қонақжай. Ас өте дәмді. Шай дәмді. Рахмет, көп рахмет, сау болыңыздар.
Рахмет.